grab a box of tissues because it's time to discuss the third episode of HBO's The Last of Us. The episode opens on Joel as he has a moment by a river, stacking rocks. There's no dialogue, but from the music we can tell he's reflecting on the loss of Tess, and stacking the rocks almost resembles a gravestone. This brief, somber moment is followed by more hiking as our duo slowly make their way to Bill and Frank's. We get a moment in a convenience store where we follow Ellie while Joel looks for his misplaced gear. Ellie finds a cellar that she quickly jumps in to explore. There she finds gold in the form of tampons before quickly realizing she isn't alone. An infected person trapped under rubble gives Ellie a moment to closely examine this former person. Her fascination turns to disgust as she is reminded of what the infected can do, and what they did to Tess. She stabs the infected in the head in what might be mistaken for mercy, though I saw it as more contempt for these things that were once people. From there we flash back to Bill the day his town is evacuated. Bill, who as you can tell is a doomsday prepper, watches from his secret bunker in the basement as the last of the townspeople are taken presumably to a quarantine zone, but more than likely, as Joel teaches Ellie earlier,
"Told you were going to a QZ and you were. If there was room. If there wasn't.
Not today, you New World Order jackboot fucks."
After Bill is sure the coast is clear, he begins looting and setting up protections around his home. He turns the gas and electricity back on so that he may resume life as normal. He enjoys a delicious-looking prime rib with a glass of wine, showing us that Bill has probably waited his entire life for this moment. Peace and quiet in the apocalypse. That quiet life is interrupted when a man falls into one of his perimeter traps and convinces Bill to allow him a shower and a meal. I think it's important during these scenes that Bill never gets the man's name, not right away at least. Bill doesn't care about people, and he's accepted his life of being alone, so giving a shower and a meal to a nameless stranger was a means of putting himself in a vulnerable position. He even gives him a change of clothes, which in this world is a hard thing to come by. He clearly likes this guy. After the two men finish their silent dinner, they share a moment over a Linda Ronstadt song, and sparks begin to fly. A short stay becomes Bill and Frank building a life together. Frank meets Joel and Tess over the radio, which becomes a partnership in trading goods, and while Bill doesn't want this at first, he eventually gives when Joel points out that his perimeter fence will eventually need updating. Their trade partnership brings us to one of my favorite moments in this episode, where Frank surprises Bill with a patch of strawberries. Their response to eating fresh fruit for the first time in several years is wonderfully acted and brought tears to my eyes. Fast forward to 2023, as both men are now in their elder years. Bill takes care of Frank, who has developed what appears to be ALS. The next morning, Frank informs Bill that this will be his last day, and that he wishes to get married, have dinner, and be put to sleep. There are many scenes to highlight between Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett, but this scene ripped my heart out, truly devastating. After an emotional montage, Bill serves Frank his final meal, which if you pay attention, is the very same meal they shared upon first meeting. Bill prepares Frank his dosed wine, and they both drink. Here, Bill reveals that he spiked the whole wine bottle, so they are going to leave this world together. After some heartfelt goodbyes, Bill wheels Frank into the bedroom, where the story ends for these two characters. We bookend the episode with Joel and Ellie arriving at Bill's town. As they enter the house, it becomes clear that Bill and Frank are no longer here. Ellie finds a note left for whoever, but probably Joel. She reads it to Joel, which explains their absence and how Bill didn't necessarily like Joel, but that he respected him. Joel takes the note outside and has a moment where he is utterly lost, and I am reminded once again how incredibly talented Pedro Pascal is. Ellie quickly steals a hidden gun before she and Joel hop in Bill's truck. Here, we have a fun moment where Ellie is excited by the idea of being in a car for presumably the first time. It's like being in a spaceship. They leave to find Joel's brother Tommy, who as it would seem is Joel's last chance at finding the Fireflies. This was easily my favorite of the show so far, and I think that this episode will be remembered alongside some of HBO's most memorable shows. What did you think? Let me know down in the comments below, and as always, I've been Barista Bran, and you've been awesome.